Hi there, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT, your online TOEFL course. And you joined my course yesterday. Now, right now, I am creating your username and your password. Now, I think you had a friend who made a payment in your behalf. Am I right? Now, you have to tell your friend, I'm going to send you an email to welcome you to my course. I have specific instructions on how you need to cancel this course, because if your friend doesn't cancel the subscription when you're done using my course, he will be billed forever and ever and ever. So any information I send you about canceling my course, you also need to send this information to your friend. And once you're done using the course, don't forget to tell your friend to cancel the subscription so he's not billed over and over and over and over. All right? Anyway, let's take a look at your specific situation. So you say, I would say here, a pharmacist. And my ambition, you want to say here, is to get a Ph.D. in pharmacy. So I need 80 or above in TOEFL. Can I achieve it through 30 days? I'm going to say no. Probably not. You're looking at, and let's take a look at what else you said here. Hold on. You said, and I would correct this to say, I took the TOEFL exam. We don't say before 1 month. We say 1 month ago. So you took the TOEFL 1 month ago, and I got 61 for two reasons. First, I'm going to change this to there were distractions, I would say during the atmosphere, just say during the exam. Secondly, I did not prepare myself. But thirdly, you don't have good English skills right now. I mean, look at the email that I'm correcting right now. You have a lot of problems with verb tenses. You have some problems with your sentence structure, problems with word choice, and on and on and on. So it's not just that you weren't prepared or that you have distractions during the exam. You don't have advanced academic English language proficiency. That's the third reason why you did not reach your goal. You say, I'm a pharmacist and my ambition is to get a Ph.D. in pharmacy, so I need 80 or above. Can I achieve it through 30 days? Probably not. So, and the thing is if you're doing pharmacy, usually pharmacy, they need higher than 80, especially during the speaking and the writing sections of the exam. Most people who want to get PhDs in pharmacy, they need to get 26 and 24 on the speaking and the writing sections of the exam. Now, if you're just telling me you want to go from 61 to 80 and the subtotals don't matter, that's a totally different situation than if you have to get 26 and 24 on the speaking and the writing sections of the exam. Do you see what I'm saying? But even if you go from 61 to 80, it's probably not possible to do that in 30 days. So I'm going to say to this, no. You probably will not reach this goal in 30 days. You have a lot of language issues right now. So, and the other thing is, here's some recommendations. As you're doing the speaking practice test during my course, I recommend turn the radio on in the background, or you can complete a speaking practice test with other people talking and things, because that's what happens during the TOEFL exam. So you have to get used to the distractions. You cannot control the distractions. You will always have distractions no matter what you do with the TOEFL exam. The question is, you have to mentally block out those distractions and focus on the test without letting these distractions bother you. You can do that through practice. All right? So my recommendation for you is, I think that you need at least 3 months, maybe as many as 6 months, or even up to a year, all depending on if you need 26 and 24 on the speaking and the writing sections of the exam. But you haven't said that you need to get 26 on the speaking. You did not say that you need to get 24 on the writing. So if you haven't said it, I'll assume you don't need it. So my recommendation here is at least 3 months of good study following 3 different steps in your study plan. I tell all my students, number one, you want to do this. Read every day for about 45 minutes. In the beginning, you might not be able to do this without taking a break. So let's say the first day you read and you have to take a break after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The next day, push yourself to read a little bit longer. And your goal here is to start reading every day for 45 minutes without looking at your cell phone, without taking a break, without talking to anybody, without eating, without going to the bathroom, without doing anything. You're staying focused on the reading materials. Now, what do you read? You choose the reading materials. My recommendation is maybe newspapers, magazines, and also books. Those materials will be very helpful for you. All right, now number 2. You also should practice your listening for about 45 minutes every day. You can focus on news, documentary history, and also science programs. That's going to be very helpful for you with your study. So, using your notes, you should get in the habit of taking notes as you're doing the reading and the listening practice. And let me say one more thing about the listening, sorry. Again, you're choosing the listening materials that you want to practice. Ideally, if you have English TV, that's going to be effective. You can focus on news, documentary history, and also science programs. If you do not have English TV, you can use the internet. I have 3 specific websites that are very useful for you. You might want to write these down. Number 1, National Public Radio. Number 2, TED Talks. Number 3, Randall's Cyber Listening Lab. So you can use those websites also. Now, as you do the reading and the listening practice, get in the habit of taking notes on the main and the most important supporting points of the reading and the listening passages. Remember, in the beginning, this is not going to be easy. This is why it takes you several months of practice. A lot of students cannot take notes and listen at the same time. This is why you're starting today. Remember, in the beginning, it won't be easy. Your notes will not be complete. They won't even be accurate. But start taking notes on the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. Eventually, in 2 or 3 months, you'll get better and better at your note-taking on those reading and listening passages. Now, using your notes, you can write and speak about the information. When you're writing about reading and listening passages, my recommendation each week is to write 3 250-word summaries. So each summary should be 250 words. You want to explain in your own words, using your own grammar. You can't just copy word for word what you read or what you listen to, but you should explain in your own words the main and the most important supporting points of those reading and listening passages. This is what we call an academic summary. So start writing 3 summaries each week. In addition to doing written summaries, you should also orally summarize the information in the reading and the listening passages. Again, using your own vocabulary and your own grammar, you should re-explain the main and the most important supporting points of the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. Now, you can't explain all of them. My recommendation is to do maybe 3 to 5 oral summaries each week. Each summary should be 60 seconds long. Again, in the beginning, it will be ugly. You're not going to be very good at it, but as you practice, you'll get better and better at writing and speaking about the reading and the listening passages. And guess what? The better you get, the higher your integrated writing and integrated speaking scores will be. Trust me. This is a process. Not anything you can do in 30 days. I'm recommending a minimum of 90 days that you follow the suggestions in this video. In fact, you might want to play my video once a week for the next few weeks just so that you continue to understand what it is you're trying to do. What you're trying to do here is to build your academic English language abilities. Now, so I've given you my first two suggestions. You're doing some reading practice, you're doing some listening practice, you're doing some writing and some speaking practice, you're getting some good note-taking practice. You're doing this every day for a minimum of 3 months. Number 3, start going through the lessons in my online TOEFL course. Now, I'm not going to recommend a specific study guide. I'm going to recommend how you can complete the lessons in my online TOEFL course. Because your language skills right now are so low, you really need to practice a lot. And that's exactly what my website will help you do. So for the first month, I want you to go through the vocabulary, pronunciation, and the grammar lessons in my online TOEFL course. It might take you a little longer than a month, but do that first. Secondly, once you have completed the first 3 sections of my course, then complete the listening and the reading lessons of my course. This is also important. Finally, then you can complete the writing and the speaking parts of my course. Now, depending on how quickly you can learn this information, this will probably take you anywhere from 3 to 6 months to do this. Now, what you can do is maybe after 3 months of study, of following my plan, if you want, you can take what's called a full-length IBT practice test. You can learn about my IBT full-length practice test by going to the 8th section of my course. Remember, I have 7 steps, and the 8th section of my course has some practice tests that you can take so you can mark your progress. Believe it or not, these practice tests, they will take you about 5.5 hours to complete. And again, my recommendation, when you're doing the speaking section of the test, make sure you turn on the radio or put something in the background that makes noise so it's a distraction. Because when you do speaking during the TOEFL exam, you'll have other people completing speaking practice tests while you do yours. So you have to be able to concentrate even with distraction. Alright, so the benefits of taking a full-length IBT practice test are important. Obviously, you can mark your progress. You become familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of your own academic English language abilities. Now, in addition to that, the practice test helps familiarize you with the structure and the format of the TOEFL exam, which is also important. And finally, by taking a full-length IBT practice test, you can develop the stamina and the strength needed for a 5-hour test. A lot of students give up. They cannot concentrate for 5 hours when taking an English type test. So if you do some practice tests beforehand, that helps you get used to concentrating during longer periods of time in English. Trust me, it will help you when you take the TOEFL exam. Alright, so those are my recommendations for you. I'd love to have you as one of my students. Remember that you need to be patient. You need to recognize that you do have some significant language issues right now which you need to solve, and that it will probably take you longer than 30 days to solve all these problems. But if you follow my plan and you study regularly every day and you do this over several months, you will see an increase in your academic English language abilities, which means you will also get an increase in your TOEFL score. Alright? I'm basing my comments and my suggestions on more than 20 years of TOEFL teaching experience. I have been teaching TOEFL at California State University, San Bernardino since 1995. I have a master's degree in English composition with an emphasis on teaching English as a second language, and I'm also a professor for the English department at the same university where I mostly teach composition classes. Alright, anyway, nice to meet you, and all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.